I want you to picture something with me. A woman, 73, standing at her kitchen counter on a Tuesday evening. The light is gold and a little tired. She's just hung up the phone with her son. The call lasted 4 minutes and 11 seconds. She knows because she looked. He said he was busy. He said he'd call back this weekend. She knows he won't. She doesn't know how she knows. She just knows. There is a kind of distance that doesn't announce itself. It doesn't slam doors. It doesn't write angry letters. It just gets quieter and quieter and quieter until one day you realize the last real conversation you had with your child was 8 months ago, and you can't quite remember what it was about. Earlier this year, the Pew Research Center surveyed more than 3,000 American parents of grown children. More than a third of them, 36%, said they talk with their adult kids less often than they would like. Not because the children are cruel, not because anything blew up, just less, just quieter, just further. And almost none of them could tell you exactly when it started. So tonight I want to ask the question that almost nobody asks out loud. Not what did my child do wrong, not why don't they call. The harder question, the one that takes a little courage. What was I doing, gently, lovingly, with the best intentions in the world, that was slowly pushing them away? Let's start. I have spent a long time listening to families, mothers, fathers, grandparents, the ones who feel the chair across the dinner table getting emptier every year. And I've come to believe there is one quiet attitude, almost invisible, almost loving, that does more damage than anger ever could. Tonight, I want to name it. For most families, children don't disappear in a single moment. They drift, and the drift has stages. I've come to call it the drift map because once you can see the stages, you can see exactly where you are. And more importantly, you can see what to stop doing tonight. 4 stages. The polite distance, the filtered visit, the quiet wall, the soft goodbye. Most parents I've spoken with are somewhere between stage 1 and stage 3, and they don't know it because each stage looks almost normal from the inside. The drift is gentle. That's what makes it dangerous. Stage 1. The polite distance. The calls still happen, but they get shorter. The texts still come, but they get thinner. How are you, Mom? Good, good. Talk soon. 2 sentences where there used to be 20. You tell yourself they're busy, and maybe they are. But if you listen carefully, the warmth has started to go out of the voice, and warmth doesn't leave by accident. The same Pew study found that 31% of parents text their grown child every day. Only 10% see them in person that often, so the channel narrows. Texting becomes the bridge, and on a thin bridge, every word weighs more than you think. I came across an online conversation a while back where a daughter wrote, and I'm paraphrasing the spirit of it, "I don't avoid my mother because I stopped loving her. I avoid her because every call ends with me feeling smaller than when it started." I read that line 3 times. I want you to read it again, slowly, in your own head. Every call ends with me feeling smaller than when it started. Here's the test for stage 1. Ask yourself honestly, when my child hangs up the phone with me, do they feel taller or shorter, lighter or heavier? Because whatever they feel, they will associate with you. Not consciously, the body remembers, and the body is what picks up the phone next time, or doesn't. If you are in stage 1, the good news is most of the work is small. You don't need a long apology. You don't need a hard conversation. You just need to change the temperature of the goodbye. End your next phone call with something true and warm. I'm proud of you. I love hearing your voice. That's all. Go enjoy your night. Then hang up first. Stage 2. The filtered visit. They still come for Thanksgiving. They still show up on your birthday. But they bring an edited version of themselves. The job worry stays in the car. The marriage trouble stays in the car. The struggle with their teenager stays in the car. They walk in carrying only the parts they think you can handle without commenting on. This is a lonely thing to watch and not realize. You see your son. You hug your son. And the whole time, the most alive parts of him are sitting in the driveway, in the front seat of his car, waiting for him to come back out. He is performing the version of himself that doesn't get corrected. And performing is exhausting, which is why the visits get shorter. In family research and clinical interviews, the same complaint comes up over and over from grown children. I love them, but I can't tell them anything real, because anything I tell them turns into advice. That single sentence, anything I tell them turns into advice, is the engine of stage 2. Here is the paradox almost no one warns you about. The advice you give out of love feels, on the receiving end, like a verdict. You meant, I want to help you. They heard, you are not handling this correctly. Same words, different planet. And once a grown child starts feeling judged at your kitchen table, they stop bringing the real things to your kitchen table. They bring the small things, the safe things, the weather. Someone in an online group put it this way. And the line stayed with me. My mother is the most loving person I know, and the last person I would tell I was struggling. Read that twice. The most loving, and the last person, both true at once. This is the drift map. 4 stages, sitting on my desk in front of you tonight. If you can find yourself on this card, you can change the next chapter of your family. Most parents I've spoken with don't even know stage 2 is happening, because their child is still showing up. But showing up and showing themselves are 2 different things. Stage 3, the quiet wall. By the time a family reaches stage 3, the child has stopped trying to be understood. They've stopped explaining. They've stopped defending. When you ask a question, you get a one-word answer. Fine, busy, sure, maybe. The wall is up, and the wall is polite, and the wall is the saddest thing in the room. ARP's most recent loneliness research found that 4 in 10 Americans over 45 report being lonely, and the number has gone up, not down, in the last few years. The hardest version of that loneliness is not living alone. It's sitting across from someone you love, and feeling a wall you can't see and can't name. A landmark study by Carl Pillemer at Cornell University, surveying more than 1,300 Americans, found that roughly 1 in 10 of us is currently estranged from a parent or a child. 1 in 10. That number didn't get there overnight. It got there one quiet wall at a time. Stage 3 is the moment a parent has to be brave, because stage 3 is where most people make the worst possible choice. They push harder. They call more. They show up unannounced. They say, why don't you ever talk to me anymore? And they say it in a voice that proves exactly why. The way through the quiet wall is not more force. It is less. Less calling, less commenting, less correcting. A short, warm, no-pressure message that contains no advice, no guilt, and no question that requires an answer. Thinking of you today. No need to write back. That sentence has rebuilt more bridges than I can count. I know this is hard. I know every part of you wants to fix it tonight, but the wall didn't go up tonight, and it doesn't come down tonight. It comes down the way it went up, slowly, quietly, one safe interaction at a time. Patience is not weakness here. Patience is the only tool that still works. Stage 4. The soft goodbye. There is no fight. There is no scene. There is just an empty chair at Thanksgiving, and a Christmas card that arrived a week late, and a grandchild who barely knows your face. Most stage 4 families never had one big rupture. They had 1,000 small corrections that finally added up to a number their child could no longer carry. I want to be honest with you here, because the people I trust most are the people who tell me the truth even when it hurts. If you are in stage 4, the work is not about getting your child back tomorrow. The work is about becoming, slowly, a person they would feel safe coming back to. That is a different question, and it is the only one worth asking now. I came across a daughter writing online about her elderly mother. The line that stayed with me was simple. She said she didn't need an apology for the past. She just needed to feel one time that her mother saw her as a whole adult, not a project still in need of finishing. One time. That was the whole ask. And the mother, who loved her deeply, had not yet figured out how to give it. So here's the soft truth I want to leave at the end of stage 4. The door is almost never fully closed. It's just leaning. And what reopens it is almost never a grand gesture. It's a single message, sent without expectation, that says only this: I love you. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just glad you exist. No follow-up, no second message that night. Just that. Now, I told you at the beginning that there is one quiet attitude behind every stage of the drift. It's time to name it, because once it has a name, you can see it. And once you can see it, you can finally put it down. The 4 stages are not 4 separate problems. They are 4 shadows of one root. I call it the correcting posture. It is the quiet, lifelong habit of standing slightly above your grown child, ready to advise, ready to remind, ready to warn, ready to fix. It is almost always loving, and it is almost always corrosive. The correcting posture sounds like this. You should really think about that. Have you considered... I'm just saying, when I was your age, I don't want to interfere, but I'm telling you this because I love you. Each sentence on its own is harmless, but spoken across 1,000 Sundays, they teach a grown child one quiet lesson. The seat next to my parent is the seat where I am being measured. There is another posture available to you. I call it the witnessing posture. The correcting parent stands above. The witnessing parent stands beside. The correcting parent listens for the mistake. The witnessing parent listens for the person. The correcting parent says, here is what I would do. The witnessing parent says, that sounds hard. Tell me more. Here is the line I want you to carry with you. A correcting voice and a loving voice can sound exactly the same to the person speaking. They never sound the same to the person listening. That is the whole secret of the drift. You felt loving. They felt evaluated. Both of you were telling the truth. I want to say something now that some of you may resist. You can be right and still be the reason your child stopped calling. Being right is not the same as being close. A lot of parents spend 40 years winning small arguments and losing the long relationship. The witnessing parent gives up the small wins and gets the years back. So what do you actually do starting tonight? I'm not going to give you a long list. The work isn't long. The work is small and steady and quiet. 3 things to put down, 3 things to pick up. That's all. Put down the unsolicited advice. If they did not ask, they do not want it. And giving it anyway is not love. It's pressure wearing love's coat. Put down the comparisons to siblings, to neighbors' children, to who they used to be at 22. And put down the running tally of everything you've done for them. The moment that ledger comes out of the drawer, they stop being your child and start being your debtor. Pick up curiosity, ask one real question per visit, and let the answer last as long as it wants to. Pick up warmth at the goodbye. The last 30 seconds of every conversation are the ones they remember. And pick up the discipline of the unsent sentence. The hardest, kindest thing a parent can learn after 60 is how to feel a correction rising in the throat and let it stay there. A clinical psychologist who has spent decades working with estranged families said something I think about often. He said the single complaint he hears most from grown children is some version of "you need to respect my boundaries." Not "you need to love me more," not "you need to call more." Respect the boundary. Which is another way of saying, let me be the adult I already am. This card on my desk tonight is a small thing, but it might be the most useful thing I've ever drawn. On the left, the sentences that build the wall. On the right, the sentences that take it down. Same situations, different posture. Print it, tape it inside the cabinet by your phone. Read it before you call your child this Sunday. I want to end somewhere unexpected. Because the witnessing posture is not just a gift to your children. It is, quietly, the greatest gift you will ever give yourself. There is a freedom waiting for the parent who finally stops correcting, and almost no one tells you about it. When you stop standing above your grown children, you stop carrying their lives on your shoulders. You stop lying awake at 2 in the morning, rehearsing what you should have said about their job, their marriage, their choices. The mind goes quiet, the chest gets lighter, the kitchen gets warmer, and one day, without warning, the phone rings, and it's them, calling for no reason at all. The relationship you've been waiting for is not on the other side of one more correction. It is on the other side of laying the correction down. A grown child who feels safe with you will return to you. Not out of duty, not out of guilt, out of something rarer than either. The simple animal pleasure of being near someone who lets them be exactly who they are. There is a book I keep on the shelf nearest my reading chair, Being Mortal, by the surgeon Atul Gawande. He spent years studying how we age in this country, and what he learned in the end was almost too simple to print. He wrote that our ultimate goal is not a good death, but a good life, all the way to the very end. A good life, to the very end. And a good life, at our age, is almost entirely measured in the quality of the people who still want to sit beside us. So, if there is one thing I want you to carry into tomorrow, let it be this. Your children are not drifting because they stopped loving you. They are drifting because somewhere along the way, love started to feel like a performance review. You can change that this week. You can change it on the next phone call. You can change it with a single sentence that contains no instruction. I'm proud of you. That's the whole reason I called. I have watched a lot of families come back from a long drift. None of them did it with a speech. All of them did it the same small way. One warm goodbye, one unsent correction, one quiet Sunday at a time. Your children are still out there. The door is still leaning, and the next move, kindly, gently, is yours. Sleep well tonight. I'll see you again soon. The most loving thing an aging parent can learn to do is stop trying to improve the people they already love.